Frozen taquitos sold at Aldi are being recalled because they might have metal in them.
Take a look. Do you have this in your freezer? The Casa Mami.
Walk into any Aldi in America, and you'll notice something magical. The prices feel like they're frozen in 1999. The aisles are quiet. The carts are small enough that you won't accidentally run over someone's hip replacement, and everything seems simple, clean, honest, as if Aldi is the last remaining grocery store that actually cares about seniors eating well on a budget. But here's the jaw dropper nobody tells you. Some of the same Aldi products that American seniors buy every single week. Snacks, pizzas, protein bars, canned foods, yogurts are flat out banned in Europe, not limited. Not labeled, banned, as in not allowed through customs, not approved for shelves, not okay for human consumption. And yet here in the US, people toss these foods into their carts with the same confidence as a pastor grabbing communion bread, because Aldi has built this reputation: cheap, efficient, trustworthy, European. And that right there is the perfect illusion. Everyone thinks Aldi is European, so the food quality must be European too. But here's the plot twist. Europeans shop in Aldi stores safeguarded by Europe's strict chemical bans. Americans don't. The labels look the same. The packaging looks the same. The branding looks identical. But what's inside? Different universe. So today on Frugal Pro, we're walking straight into the aisles of Aldi and exposing the foods that Europe said absolutely not to. Especially dangerous for seniors whose bodies can no longer fight off chemical experiments the same way they did at 25. If this video shocks you even once, smash that like button and subscribe. Because here, we don't shop scared, we shop informed. And Aldi's first big secret is hiding right in the freezer section. Picture this. It's Friday night. You're tired. You grab one of those mamakaze frozen pizzas everyone loves tossing into the oven for $5. Golden cheese, crispy edges, that perfect chewy crust that feels like a reward for surviving another week. But here's what Europe saw when they looked at that same crust: potassium bromate. Sounds like a harmless science experiment you did in 7th grade. But no, this stuff has been banned across the EU for more than 30 years. Banned in Canada, and banned throughout Asia. Why? Because in animal studies it's been linked to thyroid cancer, kidney cancer, and gastrointestinal tumors. Think of it like adding a sprinkle of good luck from the Grim Reaper on top of your pepperoni. In the United States, potassium bromate gets a free pass because our food laws were written when shoulder pads were still in fashion. Europe moved on. We didn't. And here's where the senior danger skyrockets. After 65, your kidneys don't filter toxins the same way. Your immune system doesn't bounce back the same way. Your cancer risk is already higher simply because of age. So while a 20-year-old might shrug this off, for someone with a heart condition, diabetes, or medication sensitivity, that harmless pizza crust is playing chemical roulette. But it doesn't end there. Oh no. Aldi took a delicious pizza and gave it a second secret ingredient: BHA, a preservative Europe flagged for cancer concerns years ago. Meanwhile in America, still allowed, still in your toppings, still in your freezer. And the craziest part, Europe gets a cleaner version of the same pizza. Same brand, same box, better formula. Why? Because European regulators said, fix it or don't sell it. Here, marketers said, hey, they'll be fine. And that's the running theme of this video: the same product, the same shelf, the same branding, but two completely different rule books. Now, most seniors assume frozen pizza is the bad guy. It's comfort food, cheap food. Everybody knows it's not a salad. But what about the foods Aldi markets as healthy? Well, Europe took one look at Aldi's Elevation protein bars and slammed the brakes harder than a Florida retiree spotting a Publix BOGO sign. Those bars, the ones sitting in the good choice section, wrapped in earthy colors and words like clean, natural, balanced, contain chemical preservatives, artificial colors, and BHA compounds that Europe banned from foods aimed at kids and seniors. In the US, these ingredients pass under a loophole so generous it should have its own zip code. Grass, generally recognized as safe. Sounds official, right? It's basically the FDA saying, we think it's probably fine. Europe said, show us decades of data, prove it doesn't cause harm, then we'll talk. America said, put it on the shelf. We'll deal with the lawsuits later. And in March 2025, independent tests found chemical levels in certain Aldi protein bars that would get them instantly banned in Europe. Yet they're still sold next to the dumbbells like they're fuel for your heart. The label says heart healthy. Europe says endocrine disruptors. Take your pick. And seniors? You're the perfect target. You want convenient protein, balanced energy, something quick before your morning walk or after your medication routine. But instead of nutrition, some of these bars are delivering chemical cocktails that mess with hormones and put extra stress on your already hard-working system. That's the kind of detail Aldi will never print on the box. But don't worry, Frugal Pro just did, and we're only warming up because the next danger is hiding exactly where you least expect it. The canned food aisle. Let's head into the aisle that every senior trusts a little too much, the canned food section. Because if first part of video made you raise an eyebrow, next part will have you reading labels with a magnifying glass. Aldi's canned soups, beans, vegetables, the classics you've stocked your pantry with since the Reagan years. Look innocent. They're cheap, they last forever, they're perfect for seniors who want something warm, simple, and easy on the wallet. But here's the twist that Europe caught before America did. BPA 3 letters sounds harmless. But inside the lining of many Aldi canned goods, it acts like a chemical double agent. Europe slashed its BPA limit by 20,000 times. Yes, you heard that right. Because new research showed BPA messes with hormone function, blood pressure, kidney performance, and brain health. For seniors, that's a quadruple threat. Meanwhile, in America, those exact same cans pass every safety test we've got. Why? Because our regulations treat BPA like it's still 1995. If you tried selling some of these US Aldi cans in Berlin or Paris today, they'd get yanked off shelves faster than dentures during a caramel apple contest. Here's the part seniors rarely hear. BPA mimics hormones, specifically estrogen. And when seniors are already dealing with medications, blood pressure swings, kidney load, and bone loss, the last thing they need is a hormone impersonator sneaking into their bloodstream from a bowl of soup. Europe knows this. America shrugs. Now let's move from cans to something sweeter. The one treat seniors always believe is good for the heart. Dark chocolate Aldi's Moser Roth bars look high-end, even European. Fancy packaging, classic fonts. It feels like the kind of chocolate you'd find in Vienna under a chandelier. But during 2025 testing, some Aldi dark chocolate bars failed European safety thresholds for lead and cadmium so hard it would make a mining engineer nervous. Here's what Americans aren't told. Lead affects memory. Cadmium wrecks kidneys. Both accumulate in the body over time. And who does that hit hardest? Seniors. Your brain at 70 does not forgive the way it did at 20. Your kidneys at 68 don't flush toxins like they did when you were juggling 3 jobs in your 40s. Europe's rulebook. Cadmium must be minimized to the lowest level technologically possible. America's rulebook. It's fine. That difference is why Europe forced some chocolate makers to reformulate, while US shelves still carry versions that would never pass inspection overseas. And here's the kicker. California, which already has stricter rules than the federal level, found some Aldi bars exceeding daily lead limits multiple times over Europe, even stricter, which means that chocolate seniors are eating for heart health may be contributing to the very problems they're trying to prevent. But nothing, and I mean nothing, hits harder than the next section. Because if you think a chemical is scary, try biting into a snack and hitting an actual piece of metal. In Australia, Aldi had to recall their made real whole food balls after customers found metal fragments inside. Not tiny specks you could mistake for oat pieces. We're talking fragments big enough to crack teeth, rip gums, or worse. Metal inside a wellness snack. And here's the part American shoppers never hear. Those snacks were made in the same network of factories that produce variations of the same product line sold in the US. Same equipment, same supply chain, same risk. When machinery breaks in food processing, it doesn't contaminate one box. It contaminates the entire production run. Europe responds by pulling everything immediately. America responds by letting investigations drag on while the products stay on shelves. And think about this. Seniors using dentures or implants are at even higher risk. A metal fragment that a teenager might spit out instantly could shatter a $3,000 dental bridge or cause a deep gum injury that takes weeks to heal. These wellness snacks market themselves as clean, natural, wholesome, but in reality, they were one broken machine away from becoming a dental emergency. Now let's shift to something even more common, something seniors eat almost daily: deli meats, ham, turkey, sliced chicken. Simple, affordable, quick. But many Aldi deli meats contain sodium nitrite, a preservative banned or heavily restricted across multiple European countries. Why? Because nitrites convert into nitrosamines inside your body. And nitrosamines? They're among the most aggressively cancer-linked compounds found in food. Think of nitrosamines as the uninvited guests who ruin the party, kick your dog, steal your silverware, and refuse to leave. And once again, seniors get hit hardest. Reduced digestive resilience, higher colon cancer risk, weaker cellular repair. Meanwhile, the US still treats sodium nitrite like it's 1952. Europe tightened limits, America yawned, and if you think deli meats are bad, wait until we step into Aldi's dairy section. Because what Europeans call yogurt and what Americans call yogurt are not even the same species. Aldi's flavored yogurts in America are full of artificial colors and dyes banned or warned against in the EU. Red 40, yellow 5, blue 1. Europe literally slaps warning labels on products. May affect activity and attention. But here, the packaging just shows a smiling strawberry, and seniors, especially those taking gut medications, blood pressure pills, or probiotics, are eating dyes that can interfere with behavior, digestion, inflammation, and gut bacteria. European yogurt brands simply switched to natural coloring years ago. Here, the dairy aisle looks like someone spilled a box of crayons into a milk tank. And here's the punchline. America's version of Aldi is not Europe's version of Aldi. The prices are the same, but the rules are not. Something good for their body. We've talked about pizzas, protein bars, canned soups, deli meats, chocolate, and yogurt. But now it's time for the sneakiest category of them all, the one every senior trusts. The one that hides behind the words healthy, organic, immune support, gut-friendly. I'm talking about the health aisle, the supplements, the powders, the drinks, the foods that promise wellness but sometimes deliver the exact opposite. And Aldi's biggest offender here looks innocent enough. Protein powders. They sit quietly on the shelf in earthy beige packaging, whispering promises of strength, energy, and plant-based purity. They're the perfect choice for older adults who want easy protein without heavy cooking. Let's start with the big villain. Carrageenan. Sounds natural. It's derived from seaweed. But for your body, it's like sending a mariachi band into your digestive tract at 3 a.m. and asking them to play louder. Carrageenan is linked to inflammation, stomach irritation, and gut distress, especially in older adults whose digestive lining is already more sensitive. Europe banned it from infant formulas years ago, But in the US, it's still floating through Aldi protein powders like an uninvited guest at Thanksgiving. Then comes the heavy metal problem. Literally, independent tests found traces of lead, cadmium, and arsenic in some plant-based protein powders sold in US markets, including value brands often stocked by Aldi. Not enough to glow in the dark, but enough to slowly accumulate in your body. And that word, accumulate, is the key for seniors. Your body doesn't flush toxins the way it used to. Your kidneys work slower, your bones regenerate slower, your system recovers slower, cadmium builds up in kidneys, lead hits the nervous system, arsenic interferes with the heart and lungs. Europe sets ultra-strict limits. America? A shrug and a smile. And don't forget the famous ingredient phrase that hides more secrets than a politician's email server: natural flavors. It sounds harmless until you realize natural flavor can legally contain 100 plus different chemicals, emulsifiers, solvents, enhancers, all packed under one friendly label. Europe said, if you can't identify it cleanly, you don't sell it. America said, if you can print it small enough, it doesn't matter. But protein powder isn't the only trap. Let's move to the product older adults love because it feels European: Greek yogurt with fruit. Aldi markets it as thick, creamy, authentic. The kind of breakfast that belongs on a terrace overlooking the Mediterranean. Europe looked at the US version and burst out laughing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most American Greek yogurts aren't Greek at all. They're not strained. They're thickened with gums, stabilizers, and artificial ingredients that Europe either bans or forces to carry warnings. And those vibrant fruit swirls, that neon raspberry ribbon glowing like a Vegas billboard, that's not fruit. That's artificial dye, including red 40 and yellow 6, which Europe requires to carry warnings about hyperactivity and behavioral effects. Imagine being a senior trying to improve gut health and eating a yogurt loaded with chemicals that interfere with gut bacteria. It's like trying to clean your house while someone else pours sand in your vacuum. And when you hear probiotics on the label, you expect something alive. But mass-produced yogurt in America loses many of its live cultures by the time it hits the shelf. By the time you open it at home, your gut is expecting a party, but the yogurt shows up with a half-empty room and the DJ already left. Europe said, no thanks, call it something else. America said, as long as it looks like yogurt, sell it. And now we get to the final blow, one that even shocked me, because Europe didn't just ban certain Aldi foods for their ingredients. They banned them because Aldi sells cleaner versions in Europe, while sending the chemical-filled versions straight to American shelves. Same brand, same product, two formulas. Europe gets the safe one. We get the experimental one. Why? Because Europe demands better, and America doesn't think about that for a second. American seniors aren't genetically stronger. They're not magically more resistant to toxins. Their kidneys don't have superhero powers. Their immune systems don't come with bonus features. So why are they expected to eat foods Europe said no to? Because in Europe, the rule is simple. If there's doubt, pull it out. In the US, the rule is, if it hasn't been proven overwhelmingly dangerous yet, keep selling it. And that's why videos like this matter. Not to scare you, not to shame Aldi, but to remind you that labels like healthy, organic, European, and natural don't mean anything unless the ingredients back it up. Marketing isn't the truth. Regulations are. And when Europe won't touch something, maybe that's your cue to look twice. So the next time you walk into Aldi, remember this: that heart-healthy protein bar may contain banned preservatives. That authentic Greek yogurt might have more dye than a kid's art set. That clean wellness snack could be hiding metal fragments. That dark chocolate treat might carry more lead than a paint can from the 1970s. That simple can of soup could contain BPA levels Europe considers a threat. And yet here, it's all perfectly legal. If this video made you rethink even one Aldi product you buy every week, do yourself a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to Frugal Pro, and drop a comment with the most shocking banned food you learned about today. Because at Frugal Pro, we believe spending smart starts with knowing the truth, even when it hides behind a friendly price tag and a European-sounding brand. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and remember, what's cheap today can cost you tomorrow.